So I just got in Wave 4 of Combiner Wars, and I kind of was in the mood to talk about at least one of them, get some newer toy content on the channel, and then I kind of realized, since it's all remolds and everything, I've kind of already discussed these quite a bit. We already talked Drag Strip, so I can't do Mirage. I already talked Dead End, so I can't do Prowl, which leads me a coin flip between who was left. And we're going with Ironhide, because of all the ones I saw in this wave, this is by far the weirdest and probably worst fit. So we're going to look at him in far greater detail. Of course, this is the off-road mold, so it is a pickup truck. And I'm not sure how I feel about Ironhide being depicted as a pickup truck more and more often. See, I know a van isn't exactly a cool vehicle for kids to want to buy a toy of, and you see fewer and fewer, like, legit vans on the road these days. But, typically, like, I would take an SUV instead. But no, because of the movie, Ironhide is a pickup truck now, and I'm a little bit disappointed at that, where movie identity is circumventing a lot of things in the natural, like the original identity. But that said, it's not bad. It's a red pickup truck. Not a whole lot, not a whole lot to talk about here. I mean, as opposed to some of the RID figures I reviewed, like the Jazz recently, I do like how much paint has gone into this figure. You got this nice metallic blue, very pale metallic blue, giving it a very nice, kind of a reflective color to it. Very nice paint, actually, now that I look at it. You see the yellow stripe all the way down the side, something the Universe toy couldn't get right. That still bugs me. The stupid Universe toy didn't have a stupid stripe. The Autobot symbol right there on top of the hood, as well as a lot of gunmetal gray in order to get that bumper completely painted over. You'll also notice something of a rarity of painted rims. That's cool to see. Again, it's done up in the gunmetal. The gunmetal is also forming the back bumper. So there is actually quite a bit of detail going on here. All the paint apps that should be here are here. Nothing's really left off. And what there is, like, it's basically, it's Ironhide's deco. So it's not the most thrilling, but what needs to be there is there, and there's still a few touches to make it a little bit cooler. So I'm happy with the level of work that goes into the Combiner War toys. There should be a lot of work going into them, considering how many times they reuse all the molds. They all have to look a little bit special. The molding itself is pretty much uneventful. You've got standard stuff. It's a 4-door pickup, so you've got door handles molded in, some grooves just to show where the panels break up, and a little bit of an air intake here on the hood. Some nice details. Okay, I like the grill. I like how big the bumper is. But for the most part, it's pretty standard. There's nothing terribly exciting about the mold. So that's pretty much what the vehicle mode is and does, but we do have a few accessories we can try out. For instance, the hand-foot gun that he comes with can also plug into the back via a special peg that only fits this version of the hand mold. And you get something of a turbo engine in the back, which kind of beefs him up a little bit, but it's kind of weird seeing how far back it hangs on the vehicle, and it just kind of hovers over the truck bed because it doesn't peg down any lower than that. It's a little bit awkward, I'm not gonna lie. So no, it's not my preferred use of the hand. It's a nice option, but not quite, doesn't quite work for me. You do have, like, peg holes on the side if you want to start mounting the weapons, which does look kind of goofy. Personally, if you want to go, like, full goofy, you just, like, unfold the hand and actually make it look like, he's trying to reach out and grab something off to the side. See, this, that's some wacky racist stuff right there. Just grab the rear and throw him off the track. He does have the other weapon, though I think it makes even less sense in the vehicle mode since it's an axe and it doesn't really have anything else you can do with it. It's kind of shaped like a tailpipe, but it would hang so high, doesn't really work as any kind of tailpipe, unfortunately. And yeah, I looked underneath, there's no way to peg it in as an actual tailpipe. So, yeah, it's a truck. So let's get this truck transformed, and here we go with the Combiner War thing again. The transformation is pretty simple. Not a whole lot of things to this. Now, I am a fan of simple, clean transformations, as you would know very well by now. But the Combiner War stuff is especially simple because they technically have to work in 4 modes. So it's always a little bit simplified all around. That's not necessarily a bad thing, getting them from one mode to the next pretty quickly. But for those wanting, you know, a fully detailed, fully rendered, fully realized transformation that's more of a puzzle, it's not going to be the best for you. So this is what we see now before us. Combiner Wars Ironhide in the full robot mode. It doesn't really work, does it? Like, Ironhide, you think these, you know, huge, blocky, bulky parts. He's supposed to look like this big, brawn, veteran character, and what we have is, you know, kind of skinny and lanky. It looks like Ironhide's not working out, or like a young Ironhide, maybe. I don't know. There's something about this that just does not suit well. So if we can zoom in and focus on the head, it's an Ironhide-esque head, but something about it, again, like, there's some square detail missing here. You can see where the helmet kind of curves up toward, upwards toward the back, and it doesn't quite work. Like, there's something about it that just, it's almost Ironhide, but there's just details about it that are off. Like, and like, even staring at it now, I'm not quite sure what, but I don't know, it just doesn't strike me as the Ironhide I'm familiar with. Now, the toy itself is fairly nicely sculpted. We got a lot more detail going on here. The black is now a lot more prominent because it is going all the way through the center of the chest, and we do have a lot more gray exposed here to create the thighs and the upper arms. There's also a little bit more molding going on in the midsection, where you see another Autobot logo and a few groove lines molded in, which you can also see a little bit of on the arms. Of course, the chest is the majority of the new molding. They tried. Like, we have the same, like, metallic blue to create the chest windshield, but broken up like this, it just doesn't look like Ironhide's chest. Like, it looks like they're trying very hard to fit this homage in, and it's just, like, they're brute forcing it in, and it's just not working. It's not working for me, at least. Some extra gunmetal there, just to create some detail on the legs, break up the red a little bit. But, you know, I do like the molding here. You can see the undersides where the axle and the suspension and all that. It's supposed to look like the mechanics of the truck, and that works out for me. There's not a whole lot besides that. You'll notice of all the Combiner War toys, he kind of kibbles the most. You got these big panels hanging off of the arms, which are hinged to help get him out of the way for posing. But you also have this big thing in the back, which does not fold down in any other degree, and technically just kind of stays in place there. There's no real peg or tab holding it in place. Also, you might have noticed by now, hips are actually quite loose on this one. This might just be mine, but this is the mold's technically 3rd use, so it wouldn't surprise me if it's starting to suffer a little bit. And we still have at least 1 usage to go in Trailbreaker. I'm nervous, because I'd love to pick up a Trailbreaker that's actually named Trailbreaker. Well, so let's get to articulation here. So, fully ball-jointed head. It can look up and down a little bit and rotate all the way around. Full ball-jointed shoulders, which does get hindered by this big piece of panel. You can get it out of the way a little bit. The hinge does help, but it's going to hit the front tire of the vehicle quite a bit. We do have a waist rotation. Always like to see that. As well as a bicep rotation up here. A 90-degree elbow, which is in that weird faux ratcheted thing with the detents in it. Ball-jointed hips, which have, as noted, loosened on mine quite a bit. We have a mushroom peg to create a thigh swivel all the way around, a 90-degree knee, and that is about it. No feet, no ankle tilt of any kind, just a slant so he stands at a more natural angle. So it's pretty standard stuff, especially for the Combiner War figures. They pretty much all have the same range of articulation. Now, weaponry-wise, we have the big hand-foot gun thing, which we can now let Ironhide hold. Man, that doesn't actually hold on. Man. Tried putting it in his hand and it just didn't go. So, again, it's a big, stupid gun, which most of these things do form. It's okay. Like, I at least like that there is some kind of accessory use for them, so it's not like a complete waste. But, yeah, it never really quite fits. What really doesn't fit for me is this thing, because this is a leftover weapon from Off-Road, and of all the gadgets and weapons I've seen Ironhide employ, I've never actually seen him just start whacking at a Decepticon with a hatchet. There's just something about it that just doesn't scream veteran warrior to me. Again, like, if I take this as like a young Ironhide from the past, I might be able to roll with this, but I don't know, it just seems a little bit off. I don't know. You can, like, if you want, you can still have those peg holes from the vehicle mode and just, like, have the hatchet, like, attached to his arm, but okay, I'm trying a little bit too hard now. I don't know, the toy's just, like, I don't know, it's just such a bad fit. It's just so much about this toy is just not Ironhide, you know? It's starting to bug me a little bit. It is a Combiner War toy, so like, there are other modes, as I said. These things have to be quadruple changers, so that's where some of the engineering flaws come from. But for the most part, the toys do manage to carry it well enough. I'm actually, hang on. Hate this double hinge thing. Especially on the back knee, because the knee always wants to bend before the double hinge does. There we go. I'll go ahead and show off some of the, I'll show off the other two modes, which, guess what, we're going to go into, oh, come on, close up, you're making me look stupid now. It's again where the double hinge thing and the extra tabs don't really come in handy. Alright, so it's a pretty basic thing here to get him into the leg mode. Basically just turn him back into the truck, flip this piece up, and keep the hood of the truck where it was in robot mode, and just plug the foot on and you have a leg. That's pretty much it. It's just a big red block, so nothing too eventful to that. You know, the knee will work, but other than that, the arm mode, on the other hand, the arm, like, these kind of get weird when we get into, like, what to do with the arms. And frankly, I will admit, I don't ever put off-road in arm mode. So, to be honest with you, I don't actually know exactly how the arms are supposed to go in this mode. I do know that, like most of the arm modes, you gotta be a little bit weird with them. Yeah, we'll make this a right arm, I guess. See, no, I want this one out. That way we can actually use that as an actual elbow. I'll go ahead and, that's exactly why I keep a little bit of thumbnail. 'Cause, man, things like that, tricky to flip out. Okay, now what was I supposed to do with the arms? Because there's always some, like, weird tab-in thing. There's someone screaming at me because I didn't look this up first. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of how this, like, typically works, because there's always some really weird positioning you have to put these things into in order to actually connect everything together. Here, you know what? There's no shame in pausing a video. Hang on. Nah, I was close. I shouldn't have given up when I did. All I had to do was flip the arms around and peg them into the sides with the side mirrors. Well, so now I look stupid. But, yeah, that's what the arm mode looks like. And okay, from the bottom down, you're fine. You know, at least you get like full elbow movement and rotation and all that. That's all well and good. And then you get up to the arms. This is what I don't like about how some of the Combiner War arm modes go. It's usually just the robot mode arms just sticking off, like just like completely just random junk parts. There's no real way of like shoring this up. Also, you might notice, like, this might just be mine, but again, but the legs just do not peg together very well, and they really want to come apart on me, which is really, like, detrimental to just trying to get him just into basic poses. So, I don't know, maybe the mold's gotten a little bit more worn down than I figured it did, but, I don't know. He doesn't make the best arm. Like, he definitely is going to be a leg figure as far as Combiner Wars go. So that's pretty much all I can possibly say about Ironhide. It's not a good fit for the character. It really isn't. The body type is wrong. The vehicle is wrong. He can look okay. Like if a skinnier Ironhide is kind of your thing, but for the most part, I just find it miscast for the mold. I'm not sure if I would picture Trailbreaker in here a little bit easier since he is actually a pickup truck. But for the most part, there's nothing wrong with the toy itself. It's just the fact that the character that's using the toy isn't suited for the toy. And then there's a lot of joint and tolerance issues I'm coming across between the loose hips and the loose pegs for the arm mode. So, unfortunately, not one of my best experiences with Combiner Wars. I don't know, the series does kind of wear thin since they use the mold so many times. I don't know. It's still fun. It's a goofy little thing. You know, it's silly in the first place to make a bunch of combiners out of the original Year 1 G1 cast. But, I don't know. Ironhide just doesn't work for me. It might work for you. This might be your thing, but I think you really needed like the extra retooling and things that they do for some of the other characters. Like just the head swap, just the head swap alone is just not working for me. He needed a bit more work.